Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Tiffani Beaston and I upload every single Tuesday and Sunday. So make sure to hit that subscribe button because we are so close to 600,000 subscribers, which is a huge goal of mine. And be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you would like to see Ella's mermaid party prep, and that will be in August. But today we are doing Pokemon. My son is turning 7 and he wanted a Pokemon themed birthday party. I live for these party preps. I don't know. In my next life, I want to be a teacher. I also want to be like a party planner. I want to do it all, but I feel like at home with my kids, I get to be both. I get to be a party planner and a teacher. So the first thing I'm doing, we're starting 2 days in advance. I am just starting on the most tedious things, and that is the cupcakes right now. And then I'm also going to be making chocolate dipped Oreos, turning them into Pokemon balls. Also on this night, we will be stuffing the pinatas and making the goodie bags. And then the next day, we'll pick up and get started on some other stuff. I would have started the birthday cake this night, but I was waiting for my Pikachu cake pan to arrive, which did not arrive until after the party. So I had to improvise. My sister is here helping me. She also lives for this kind of stuff. So we had a little sleepover and she helped me get everything ready. So for these Oreos, I would definitely do it differently next time, but it's all a learning curve, right? This is like my first time ever doing this, but I have 6-inch popsicle sticks, so you can find these at Michael's, or they actually had these at Party City, and you're gonna want like really stuffed. So these ones are called like overstuffed Oreos, but they also have double stuffed, but you want to have enough of the icing in between to be able to stick the stick in. And then I'm just going to be using some colored chocolate melts that I got from Michael's. I think Michael's or Party City, one of them. And then this Wilton chocolate pot that I got, it's like a melting chocolate pot from Walmart, was really affordable. It was like $20 on sale, and it's definitely amazing for melting chocolate rather than putting it in the microwave or trying to do it on your cooktop. So here's my mistake, because there's lots of mistakes in this video, but I leave them in here so that you can learn from me. So I accidentally had the chocolate on warm to start instead of hot, and that made the consistency not very great. So if you start it on hot and then once it's melted, turn it to warm, that is what you want to do. So don't do what I did. Make sure you push it all the way over to hot, and then once it's all melted, keep it on warm. I thought that I had it on hot, but I misread the buttons. So rather than putting clips all together, I do my party prep videos in real time, like how I'm actually doing it. So you saw I took the cupcakes out, I put the Oreos in the freezer. You want to just get them nice and cold, otherwise they will fall right off the stick. So I probably had them in there for about 15 minutes or so, and I'm just dipping it in here. Again, it's all just a learning curve. I've never done this before, but the thing that was most important is that my son loved it. All the kids loved it, and they were delicious. So after they're dipped in the chocolate, they will be sitting on some wax paper, and then we're going to freeze them. So first you want to do the entire Oreo white. Once they're frozen, we'll dip it into red for the other half, and then the real fun part comes is trying to make like the black part with the circle. So while those sit in the freezer, we have our goodie bag stuff, and I'm going to start stuffing the goodie bags. And then we're also going to start melting the red for the rest of our cookie. So while that chocolate melts, I just have the cupcakes over here. They were in the pan for 10 minutes, and then I'm setting them on the cooling rack. So this next part, doing the red on the cookie, was the easiest part of the whole process. The red melted really nicely, and it just came out really pretty. So the white, like I said, the consistency was a little off because I had it on warm instead of hot. So like they came out a little chunky looking, but I still, like I said, I love them. I'm gonna let these, we're gonna do that the whole entire process again, where we put them on the wax paper or parchment paper, put them in the freezer, and then we'll do the rest of it. So here is all the candy that we will be stuffing the pinatas with. You'll notice we have 2 pinatas, and that's because Carter always wanted to have a friend birthday party. We hadn't had one in a while, and we were like kind of waiting to see what he wanted to do, if he wanted to like go to the trampoline park or do something like that. But he decided a week before his family party that he wanted his friend party to be combined with the family party. So he just wanted to have his friends and his family at his house, which wound up working great. But we did get a second pinata just to make sure we had enough for all the kids, because we have a lot of kids in our family too, like with cousins and everything. It worked out perfectly, but it was just like another little curveball. But it all came together nicely. So here is the hard part for me, at least, and that is the black chocolate. I'm using this like little pen thing that I found in my decorating box, like with all the different icing tips. It just came with it, luckily. So I melted the chocolate and then poured it in here, but it was very hard because the chocolate kept getting hard on the bottom of the tip and just like messing up the design. So I was highly stressed out at this point in the night. It's also like midnight when I'm doing this, but it all wound up coming together. Come to find out, you actually do have to read instructions once in a while. So I saw this picture on Pinterest and then just was like, okay, I'm going to do it. But if I would have read further, they actually had like a circular mold, like the shape of an Oreo cookie, and they put the chocolate into that mold first, like the dark chocolate, to make this belt looking thing on the Pokemon ball, and then they placed the already red and white chocolate covered Oreo on top of that. So it wound up coming out perfectly, but these are perfectly imperfect and we love them. All right, my sister and I were laughing because she was like, they look good from far away. And we just thought that was hilarious. So anyway, we're on the next day now. This is the day before the party. I kind of like gave up on the whole Pikachu pancake since it didn't come in time and it said it was running late on Amazon. So I am just doing a funfetti cake, and I'm going to do a couple different layers, different sizes. I have a plan in my head, but here's the curveball. For some reason, this funfetti cake came out like a pancake. I read it's from over mixing, but I did exactly what the instructions said. So I had to go out to the store and buy more cake mix, and I definitely made sure I checked my timing on the mixing as well. And then that came out like a pancake. So I don't know. I'm blaming the whole funfetti box of cake anyway. Alright, so I'm back home from the store after buying more cake mix and picking up Ella from her dance camp that she was in. And I'm making a little DIY. I saw these balls at Michael's and I got the idea in my head to make Pokemon balls. So I'm just going to tape it off and paint the top red. And then you'll see how I kind of put it all together at the end. But I'm making little centerpieces out of these and some yellow lollipops and these photo props that I got from Party City. You're going to see later in the video, but there's like a Pokemon background that comes with photo props, and it came with so many photo props that I was able to make centerpieces out of them. I really like how this came out. It's kind of just like winging it with different things that I found, and it just all came together really nicely. So I decided to put the balls in these cups. I thought it would be easier to paint. I also didn't realize that one ball was a completely different texture, which is fine because they weren't going to be on the same tables anyway. They're all in different areas. So it's not like it looked odd, but you'll see at the end, one kind of looks like a snow cone. So if you're ever having like, I don't know, like a carnival themed or, I don't know. I don't know what else, where else do you have ices at? But it would make a great little faux icy. So I'm going to be doing 2 coats on there, but while I let that first coat dry, we were just blowing up all the balloons. Carter wanted to help with this, and he was into helping with a lot of different things for the party, but I could always use help blowing up balloons. However, I am the tire for him, so luckily I have like a little bit of like a longer nail right now, so that actually helped me tie the balloons. I know there's like this device that helps you tie the balloons that comes with a lot of the balloon arches, but I just cannot figure out how to use that thing. All right, we are back for our second coat right now. So I'm doing that, and then I'm going to start making some Pokemon balls on my Cricut. I bought an SVG file from Etsy, which is basically like a template that tells your Cricut what to cut. And I really love doing that because they're usually like $1. I'm sure I could have figured out how to do it myself, but I was in a rush. So I just bought that, and then I am printing it out on my Cricut. And the Pokemon balls for that I'll use for decor in my kitchen as well as to add to the balloon arch. So I didn't wind up actually assembling those Pokemon balls until the day of the party, which started at 2, so I did have some time. But I wanted to get this tape off of here while the paint was the right consistency. Alright, now we're painting the black onto here. I'm just freehanding it. I think that when I first started doing parties, when I started before kids actually, I started with my brother's baby shower. That's when I really got into all of this stuff. But I think that I used to put so much pressure on myself for everything to be perfect, and now I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to do the best that I can because no matter what, my kids are going to love this, and I know that I'm trying my best and putting my all and putting all of my effort into it. Alright, so I got these little foam blocks from the dollar store. Again, you guys, I had the lollipops and I had the Pokemon balls. I had no idea like how I was going to do it all. I knew I wanted some tissue paper because I had seen something like that on Pinterest. I wind up adding another thing of tissue paper when I realized that it was coming through, so don't worry, I will fix that. But it just all randomly came together with like seeing different things, and he really wanted that blue color involved in the party and these yellow lollipops that reminded me of Pikachu. It wasn't all like perfectly planned. It was I saw what I saw at the store, and it just like wound up working out, even down to these little photo props. It wasn't my plan to put these in here. I had like an idea that I would try to make like Pikachu's on the Cricut or something, but these worked out perfectly and it saved me a bunch of time. So the wood that I used in the Pokemon balls was actually like the skewers that I had for the grill. So again, just all randomly going together. And then this is the funniest part. It wound up working perfectly. It's a perfect shape. I was also going to try to do like white circles for my Cricut. They also sell like white little stickers for like when you're selling things at a yard sale at the Dollar Tree. But I didn't think about that until I was home. So the white that you see on the ball, which worked out perfectly, was actually a sticker to like hold a wick down in candle making that I found in my office. So it's a little raised, which makes it even better, but how random is that? Alright, it is nighttime. I got the kids to bed and now time to put the balloon arch together. I'm watching Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and starting on this balloon arch. For some reason, this was like really hard. The balloons kept falling out of the tape that they provided because this was like a balloon arch kit. And I did want to mention at the dollar store, they have so many new party items. It's insane. I got Carter's candles from there. You'll see like a blue metallic 7 candle. That one's from Party City, but every other candle is from the Dollar Tree. But they have balloon tape there now too for your balloon garland. So if you've ever used their balloon tape, let us know in the comments below how it worked out for you. So I didn't record, but earlier in the video I did make a whole nother set of the larger round cakes that I said also came out like pancakes. But for some reason this box mix said like funfetti cupcakes, and this one turned out perfectly, like not like a pancake. I don't understand. Anyway, this is going to be Pikachu's head right now that we're making. I should also mention that I paused from the balloon arch to do that because Chris had run to the store and got like some appetizers for the party, and I also needed more eggs to be able to finish that cake, so I had to wait. Now we're back to the balloon arch, which is sometimes I just need like a break from this, and like I said, they weren't sticking it on there pretty good, so I had to like tie the balloons together. But again, the end result was perfect. Alright, moving on to the most stressful part of this entire party prep, because I had all kinds of issues with this cake, as I usually do. I need to like start practicing Ella's mermaid cake, but anyway, I'm just layering up these cakes, trying to make them somewhat level, like just using my hand. I know there's levelers and stuff like that, which I should probably think about purchasing since I make all of my kids' cakes. And then I wanted to put some M&Ms inside. I saw Brittany Boren Leach do this, and I was like, oh, that's so fun. I'm actually just using the lid to the icing to do that. I didn't really ever think about how I was going to do it until it was right in front of my face. And I never watched anybody do this, so I don't know if I'm doing it right, but it worked out. It definitely worked out. Alright, so next I am making my crumb coat. I couldn't believe how much icing I went through. Just buy a lot of icing, you guys. I also would love to try to make my own. I say this every year and I always run out of time. You guys have to force me to, in my next get all done video, make some icing and try it, because I know that everybody says it's a better consistency for decorating as well. But this is just like, you know, first of all, I personally feel like, sorry to everybody who likes this icing, I feel like the store-bought icing tastes like chemicals in the first place. I would love to try to make my own icing, but I'm not that confident, because the one time I did, I made it out of butter and it literally just like melted like butter all over the cake, so it wasn't pretty. So anyway, right now I'm making this cake. I'm feeling confident. I'm like, wow, this looks like a wedding cake. The icing's working out. It's all good. I'm going to put it in the fridge and let it cool off, and then I'm also going to start decorating. So here's where the disaster starts to come in. I'm doing my food coloring in each one of my icing containers. This one I wound up adding like a yellow orange to it too, because I felt like this wasn't really the right Pikachu color. And I'm using the natural food coloring, which probably was the mistake in the first place. You know, we try to be as healthy as we can, but I would probably not use this one again unless you want these types of colors. So I'm mixing so much. I feel like that definitely set me up for disaster, like just mixing the icing way too much, even though I did put it in the fridge and everything, because decorating this cake was a lot. You'll see. It was a whole thing. Here's the natural red. I don't see red. I see like burgundy. And no matter how much I put in, it's more like a burgundy pink. So I had to wind up putting in some not natural red, and that worked out for me. Next, we're making the black. Now I'm adding my icing to the icing bag, and as you see here, this is just the plain white, which I should have got white because this is vanilla, so it wasn't exactly white. It had like a yellowy tint to it. But you can see like my little design is coming out perfectly. I'm going to make the whole cake out of this shape. But again, keep in mind, it's the white, so I didn't put any food coloring in it, and that's why it's working out for me. I did wind up putting it back in the fridge a couple of times when it started to seem, you know, like a little melty. I also know that you shouldn't have your warm hands on the bag, but I can't do it any other way. Alright, keep in mind it's like 1 a.m. right now. My heart is starting to sink when I'm doing this red icing. It had been sitting in the fridge. It's not working out. It's not making a shape. It looks like, I don't know, like a Halloween cake, like a weird dripping blood. I don't know. It was not cute. But I just kept going. I'm like, maybe you can do it. Maybe it'll look good together. Maybe something will happen. But no, it didn't. So the yellow was even worse. As you can see here, it looks like ketchup and mustard. It's just is like horrible. This is like my nightmare come true right now. Clearly I just can't have this, so I'm smushing it all in and icing in it like this, and it's okay, but it's not perfect. Obviously it doesn't have to be perfect, but it wasn't the look that I was wanting, so I decided to try to like give it like a textured look. You'll see. But I will say, never give up. I never gave up throughout this entire thing. Luckily, I had bought the massive bag of M&Ms for the inside of the cake, so I had a lot left over to be able to make a border with them. And I always think it's nice, like whatever's inside of your food to have it as like a garnish anyway. So yeah, it wound up working perfectly. Did it take years off my life? Yes, it did. Will I ever use like this type of food coloring for my cake again? No, I won't. But guys, I'm going to redeem myself with the mermaid cake, okay? I'm going to redeem myself in August. But again, it came out good. It came out good. Chris cut out like the Pikachu eyes and cheeks and mouth for me based off a picture we found on Pinterest. While I was doing this, while I was having my heart attack, he was doing that. And then the ears, we actually wound up using the ears from one of the photo props. See, that photo prop thing like really like came to like save my life, and it was only $6. Okay, Carter loved it. That's what matters, but it looks like I planned this cake when I actually didn't, so I'll take it. And also, it was really delicious. It's 141, which I'd never want to do that to myself again because it's not healthy at all. But I made myself a list for the next day. I never want to like tell you to stay up that late or anything like that, but it just it was a hard time putting the kids down. You look at the clock, it's 9:30. You think you have more time. You're starting all of these things. So I will say I always try every year to make that not happen, but it just happens sometimes. Anyway, we're on to party day. So the thing that went wrong this day, which it wound up being okay, like everything always works out. You just can't stress everything too much because there's some things that are just completely out of your control. So first of all, I'm using the blue that Carter wanted, and he's going to help me put the rings. These are like little rings I ordered on Amazon for his cupcakes, and I always like that because then the kids get to have a ring with their cupcake as well. But we ordered giant water slides. That was like the big surprise for him. And the day before, it was 93 degrees out. The day of his party, the high was 70, and it was so windy. Like, I was afraid that we were going to fly away outside. So we never added water to the water slide. We just used it as a slide, and the kids had so much fun, and they absolutely loved it. So it all worked out. But there's just some things you can't control, but you can control your attitude. So I never let Carter see that I was stressed about it, and I just kept talking about how nice everything looked and how much fun we were going to have. But I was definitely deep down inside very stressed. Now we are moving on to the Oreos again because I wound up getting these white chocolate chips. I, again, have no idea what I'm doing. But I was like, well, I need to melt them on one side. So I just put one of my pans on the oven, got it nice and hot, and used it that way to melt one side of the chocolate chips, and it worked out. So also, you guys, Chris and I have been talking about how I need to make a video that is like my party prep essentials, like the items that I have from Amazon and things like that. Let me know if that's a video that you would be interested in. Next, I'm headed outside to put in this happy birthday sign. You can see like how windy it is. It's insane. I've never done these yard signs before, but I think it's such a great idea, especially if you're going to be like outdoors. I know originally they're like for your front yard and stuff, but I think it's a great like piece of decor for your yard party. So if you're new here, this is something I would have usually done the night before. I also want to say that I put this backdrop in the garage like laid out days ago to try to get the wrinkles out, and it helped a lot. But the reason why we're doing this so last minute the day of the party is because I kept thinking that I would be decorating outside, and like with the wind and everything, there was no way that I would have been able to have anything stay up outside. So we are doing this decor inside. So a little tip is that you can use your piñatas as decor as well before it's time to do the piñata. And your goodie bags. Another tip is for birthday parties, especially for kids, try to have things planned and keep it going, because trust me, no parent wants to just like sit around while your kids are just like, all over the place. Like, it's better to have some structure. So of course they had tons of time to plan the slide, but when we saw that they were getting like a little bored of the slide, we're like, okay, piñata time, cake time. And like we had pizzas there like right away for people to get. But that's just a little tip, to have a couple of fun things planned. We would have done water balloons too, but like I said, it was just so cold out. It was so random, like 90 degrees the day before, the next day it's in the 70s, like low 70s. The kids also had a lot of fun with those little masks that we bought. This Pokemon ball, I never really thought about how I was actually going to put it together, so I'm just using tape. Again, I'm just trying to hurry up so I have time to get ready before people get here. You also know that I always do whatever age they are. I do a number balloon for that age and put it on, oh my gosh, why do I always forget what this is called? Like the fan over my oven. We also had the bounce house in the garage set up for the party as well, so lots of things for the kids to do. I am in the shower, and while I'm showering, Chris is doing all the helium balloons. All of these are from Amazon as well. Alright, so I am ready for the party. We're finally putting up this photo prop. I didn't really think about it. I just put it up pretty high up, and it was huge. I should have had it like on the floor, like starting on the floor for the kids to take a picture with, but at this point I was just honestly not thinking straight. I was just trying to hurry up so I can clean before people get here. That's always like my last thing. It's just like clean as much as I can, put all the diffusers on, make the house smell good. But yeah. So I hope that you all enjoyed this video and that it inspired you to do some party prep yourself or try to make a cake yourself. You know, we all as parents put our all into everything, whether you are just buying all of your stuff and ordering it, having somebody else set it up, going to a trampoline park where you just have to bring, you know, the cake. Whatever you do, I'm sure it's perfect for your kids. I never want my videos to make you feel less than. I want them to make you feel inspired, and I say that just because I've had people comment on my videos about like how my party preps make them feel like they don't do enough, and this is just something that I love, and you should never let anybody else make you question who you are.